How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about CEI Camber Energy. The best way to somehow it performed, it was consistent. Especially since we did see a pullback in oil prices as well. We can see there's a lot of accumulation that is going on. I'll talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for CEI Camber Energy. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $1.07, no change whatsoever. And then when we take a look at the range on the day, on the low, it tested $1.04, and then on the high, testing $1.23. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 128.314 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 223.046 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, but at least we saw some consistency in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it was at 64.16. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are above the 50-day, the 21-day EMA, as well as for the 200-day and the 100-day. So a great thing that we were able to see today, we continue to hold up the $1 level. We ended up seeing a low of $1.04, and we saw a high of $1.23. So going into tomorrow, what we want to see from Camber is being able to make that move to $1.50. This is crucial because then we can have more buyers stepping in and then push the momentum even further. As far as if we end up consolidating, I want to see us continue to hold up $1. That's supposed to be our strong area of support. And like I was saying previously, this 200-day moving average is very important. The moment we break through 95 cents, that's where we start seeing some weakness, and we do know we have a gap that needs to be filled right here around 80 cents, which lines up right at where we have the 21-day EMA. So as long as we have price action above these particular areas, things will look good for Camber, but most preferably, we want to stay above $1. So let's see how Camber performs going into Friday, but if we can form another higher low, which would be preferably just above $1.10, it will look good going into next week. So let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent short interest information for CEI Camber Energy. So for the off-exchange short volume ratio, it is at 51.24%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 71.55 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 550,000, updated 6 minutes ago, and then for the short ball fee rate, it is at 17.30%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 8th, it is at 57.87, and then for the close of the 9th being at 51.24. So one thing that remains clear, CEI does continue to have short squeeze potential. So now let's take a look at the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for CEI. So we see on the inflows at 31.33 and then on the outflows at 29.63. So we had an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large it was 8.89, on the medium it was 17.96, and then on the small it was 4.48. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large it was 7.56, on the medium it was 17.92, and then on the small it was 4. 4.15. Keep in mind these numbers are in the millions. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for today, March the 10th, it being that inflow of 1.33 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling, but it was still fairly close. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 51.79%. So no surprises why it's this high. It's a volatile play. There are many traders that are going in and out and so forth. So you got to be prepared for that price action, especially if you're holding this as a swing trade. But one thing that was very clear though, there was demand inside of the market. Now let's get into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for CEI, Camber Energy, what I want to see going into tomorrow, if we see some strength, I would love to see us move up to another higher low, most preferably around $1.10. We've been seeing $1 has been a strong area of support. We're seeing a lot of accumulation. We see the buying that's been going on inside of the order flow. And we do know as far as what's going on economically, oil prices will continue to surge. Even though it had a pullback, we still saw strength in the oil and energy sector. So these are the things you want to pay attention to. We also know as far as for the key level to the upside that we need to get above, I want to see some price action above $1.25. And then the next resistance level is going to be around $1.50. And there we see where we go from there to make that move going back to $2. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. So this is why you want to keep this play on your radar. Keep an eye on how it's moving inside of the pre-market. Keep an eye on those commodities and see what those oil prices are looking like. And you also can compare this stock to similar companies inside of the sector. This is crucial to make sure that you can formulate a strategy that is right for you. And I almost forgot, as far as for the bearish case scenario, if it does have a pullback and it breaks to $1, then we want to see strength above the 200-day moving average or right around 95 cents. And we do know there is a gap that needs to be filled right around 80 cents. But I'm not seeing that. Let's continue to hold up $1 and then see what Camber does going into next week. Hope you enjoyed this video and we'll be talking real soon.